Good morning. Thank you for being here today. My name is Lorna Reyes. I'm with Westcore Land Title. We're a title insurance company. If this is your first time attending one of my classes, we're kind of like a secret agent. If you haven't heard from us, it's a good thing, because usually if we're involved, there's a claim or there's an issue. I like to say we're secret agents, and we're just here to support you guys. Our customers are the title companies. For example, you guys work with Title Partners, which is one of our main customers, and we like to partner with them to help you guys, obviously, because we feel that by all working together, helping you guys be more successful, it trickles down. We all, get to work and develop great relationships and learn more new things. Today's class is one of my favorite classes. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. I am a licensed real estate agent. I do not do real estate, but I did for many years. I got my license in 2008. I was the happiest realtor. I had no idea what was going on. That's when the market crashed. Exactly. But I learned a lot, and I love it. I feel it's a great career for those that take it very serious. You're doing a very big service for consumers, and I just love the fact that you guys are here taking it serious and learning something new. This is one of the first topics that I learned when I became a realtor, and it's something that I think realtors miss out on a lot. It's not taught to them. So I hope you guys learn something from this, and it helps you with your 2024 goals. You're going to have a lot of homework, so I hope you guys take a lot of notes. So today we're going to talk about goal setting and how important that is for you guys in your career. We're going to review past results and talk about that and how important that is to setting up your projection for next year. We're going to talk about your business plan, and we're going to talk a couple of sales strategies, okay? So what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals, obviously. The goal is to be a successful realtor, be successful at what you do. And I want to start with saying that I personally want to work to live, not live to work. And that does take planning. So by working and achieving your goals, you guys are going to achieve your own personal things, the things that you want to do. You work to obviously support yourself, but I love vacations. I like to shop. Everyone has their thing. So think about that when you guys are working on your goal setting, not just for work, because they both go together. Your business and your personal go together. So first, I want you to think what you want out of this class today, okay? And again, part of your homework is you guys are going to sit down and start writing out those things that you want to achieve. Has anyone ever read the book, The Secret? Write it down. There is a video. Maybe you want to look it up. And it talks about the law of attraction. Likes attract likes. And it talks about the universe. I know for some people, the universe kind of like, what? The universe listens to you. So you have to be careful what you say to the universe. So if you're saying things like, I don't want bills, the universe only understands bills. It doesn't understand want or don't want. You have to tell the universe, I want success. I want 10 closings a month. You have to be specific. Otherwise, the universe does not understand. And once you read the book, it'll make more sense. It explains it a little better. So I am a strong believer of either you write it down or you can even create a vision board. I used to have one like this, and I used to get pictures from online myself and have it on a vision board in front of me to remind me of what my goals are. Is it your dream house? Is that one of your goals? Is it time with your family? Is it traveling? Are you looking for a new car? You have to be specific to the detail. I recently watched, I think it's Oprah and Viola Davis. And for a long time, she was single. She couldn't find someone that she could share her life with, Viola Davis. And people asked her, well, what would you want in a man? You haven't been specific about it. And she was so specific. She's like, I want a man who already has kids. They're older kids. I want him to to obviously be in the industry and understand what it's like to be with someone like her, a big celebrity. She was so specific and detailed. And what do you know? The guy she married eventually fit every single one of the things that she had asked for. So you got to be specific. Let's say you want a car. What color? What brand? What make? Color rims? Whatever it is that you're looking for, be very specific as to what you want. I love writing down goals every year. I keep a journal, and I always go back to what I wrote last year, and I love it because I can go through it and check off all the things that I did accomplish. Some things you may not. Things change, or maybe they take a little longer. But to me, it's amazing because I sometimes forget what I wrote down. So to go back and look at all the things that I wrote down and what I was hoping for, and to see that I achieved most of them, it's amazing. So every year, like now, for example, I'll start now, okay, what are my goals? What did I accomplish last year? Do I need to move those forward? Or I want to write new things, and what are those new things? So that's my first suggestion to you. You guys have to figure out, personal and business, what are those things? Write them down, figure it out, and be very specific about them. So how do you reach those goals? You're going to have a list of short goals and long-term goals, okay? Some things take a little bit longer. A human takes 9 months gestation to create a human, right? An elephant takes 2 years. I mean, imagine the size. See the difference? So some goals they might take a little bit longer. Some goals might require that you break them up in pieces. So you have to know also what steps you need to take to reach those goals. Because it's not just, okay, that's what I want. What are we going to do to get there? Okay? And you have to set deadlines for the goals, right? Are you going to do it every quarter? What are you going to do? Or every 6 months? Or by the end of the year? Like, what are the things that you need to accomplish? So I'll explain it like this. A goal is like a direction, right? So how to get there, the directions, that's the things that you're going to do to get there. And the time frame is, if you have to go somewhere for a birthday party, you have to get there at a certain time. Otherwise, you either got too early or you got there too late. So that's why it's important for you guys to know what it is that you want. How are we going to achieve it? And set a deadline. By this time, I should be here. By this time, I should be here. So now the important part. Are you willing to put the effort to get to those goals? What will you give up to make these things happen? And that is super important. My family knew, obviously, depending what I was trying to achieve, I might have to sacrifice a couple weekends or the Sundays, because most of the time I didn't work on Sundays, but when I had to crunch time and we had to get things done, we had to sacrifice time. And my family understood that because my goals also affected them. They benefited from those things that I achieved. So you have to be clear of, okay, what do I need to do? I might have to, answer the phone or step it up, make cold calls or whatever it is that you guys need to do to achieve those things. So before we start to work on the work stuff, the personal, like I mentioned to you, both go hand in hand. And the personal, you have to be very well within yourself, spiritually, your relationships, your emotions, and physically. So you have to take care of yourself. How many times have you seen people that struggle at home? They're having issues at home, things at home, it's not well. Work suffers from that. You don't have energy. If you're not healthy, all those things affect you in your work and your goals too. And I say that this is like the 4 legs to a table. If one of these legs is broken, your table is going to be like this. And that's not what you want. So that's the first thing. You have to take care of yourself, whatever it is that you need to do, your yoga, your meditation, your exercise, all those things also play a part. And those should be things too that you guys have in your goals that you're doing too, because those things help you. We're in an industry where you guys get rejected every other second. So your emotional and your ability to move on from each one of those situations has to be clear. So that's something that you definitely need to work on to make all the other things work together. So how do we create SMART goals? What are SMART goals? SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. We already talked about some of those things earlier. So a specific goal has a much greater chance of being accomplished than a general goal. Remember what I said, be very specific. Be so clear about what it is that you're looking for that, you could just picture it. And I've heard if you can dream it, it's possible. It is surely possible. So be very clear about it. So a general goal would be increase our order count by 50%. Now, a specific one is we're going to increase our count by 15% every quarter. You see, now we have a time. We know that every month we have to do 15%, or every quarter we have to do the 15%. We're more tuned as to what we need and how we're going to get there. To set a specific goal, you must answer the 5 W questions. So these are questions. And by the way, I can give out this presentation, so you guys want it, just contact Kirelis and she'll can forward it to you guys. So who is involved in this transaction? Your customers, right? So we have to know who is it. We need customers, we need buyers, we need sellers, we need renters, whatever we need. What do I want to accomplish? What is my goal? How many deals? How many transactions I need to close? Identify the place to meet the people. Where are we meeting them, or where are you finding them? Whether you're doing social media, whether you're meeting them at locations. Establish a time frame. We talked about the time frame. You should have, by this time, all your transactions. Same thing. You get a buyer, shop for a house, get into contract, go through the contract, get to your closing. Everything has a time frame. So, and have specific reasons, purpose, or benefits of accomplishing this goal. Why? Why are you doing these things? Why is this so important to you? Obviously, we said we want to work to live, not live to work. So creating measurable goals. Establish concrete criteria for measuring progress towards the attainment of each goal you set. So when you measure your progress, which is super important, and you have to track, and this is what I was saying about knowing what you've done this year. Your homework is, what did you do this year? How many transactions did you do? Are they buyers? Are they sellers? Are they renters? How many customers did you have? How many did not buy or sell? Or what happened? You have to be very specific about what happened also this year so that you can plan ahead for next year and know what things worked and what didn't work. So I don't know if you guys going through the MLS or you keep record of all your transactions. Everything, even the stuff that didn't close, is important, because then that should tell you, okay, what happened? Why didn't that work out? What could I have done different? That's definitely going to help you. So when you measure your progress, you stay on track, reach your target date, and experience the acceleration of achievement that spurs you on continued effort required to continue the goals. So I'm going to talk about different things too, how you can track your activities. I'm going to give you my suggestion on what I did back when I did real estate. You guys can use a CRM, or you can use something else. I use Excel, and I can give you that report too if you guys want to use it. To determine if your goal is measurable, ask questions such as, how many transactions closings are we looking to increase by each month? How many buyers, sellers are we going to see this month at our prospective new clients? How many cold calls are you going to make? How are we going to know if our plan is working? So that's part of the tracking thing. If you guys are tracking, then you know that I need to step it up. Okay, I'm on my target. I'm ahead of the game. But if you don't track and you don't see and you don't know, then you're kind of just going blind. So creating attainable goals. Is it reasonable what you're doing? Are the goals that you're setting really like something that you can do? I want to close 50 transactions a month. Is that reasonable? Probably not. So they have to make sense also. You have to look at your time. I know sometimes realtors are working full time and they have other things that they have to take care of, family. So make sure that they're reasonable, because then what happens is if you're not being reasonable about your goals, you're going to give up. And then you think like, whatever, I'm a failure, or I can do this, and that's not what you want. So you have to make sure that you have the attitude, the ability, the skills that you can handle what you're setting yourself up for. Okay. To be realistic, a goal must represent an objective towards which you are both willing and able to work. Same thing, kind of like what I mentioned. To be realistic, it has to be something that you can do and that you can achieve based on your situation. Sometimes I see realtors too that they see other realtors are successful at doing something specific. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you need to be doing. Each one of you has your own skills, your own abilities, your own style. So you got to find what works for you. It's always good to try something new. I would never deter you and not to try something. But remember that you cannot judge your activity based on somebody else's, because you don't know their situation. You don't know how much time they're committing to it. You don't know what they're spending to generate. There's so many factors that can go into that. You can only go based on what you can do and what you're capable of doing and what you have, the capacity to do. So, all right, so a timely goal, and we keep talking about having a timely goal. Is it, weekly, monthly? For me, and I'll explain it to you, I had to close either a certain number of transactions or a certain amount a month. And I'm gonna break it down for you. So when I have my report would tell me, what did you close in January? What did you close in February? I had a goal for the end of the year, but we broke it down by month. One month, maybe we had a great month. I'll give you an example. January, don't expect anything. It's dead. Everybody's still in vacation mode. February, you might have something lingering that might be able to close. March, you're going to start seeing like a little bit more movement. So now you have April, May, June, July, August to make up for those months that were down. And this is, if you've been doing real estate for a long time, you realize that that's how it is. Real estate is like that. You have to just go with the waves and prepare and be aware of what's going on with your market so that you can, pivot or do what you need to do to adjust to the market. So make sure you set goals, like I said, have a time frame as to when you want to accomplish things. To determine if your goal is realistic, you have to ask yourself some questions too. Do I truly believe that I can accomplish it? Remember what I said, if you don't do it, it'll hurt you, because then you think, well, I can't do this. And that might not be the case. You might have set goals that were way too out there to reach. Have I accomplished anything similar in the past? Maybe, maybe not. I like to be told you can't do it, so I can do it and brag about it. Can I identify the conditions that would have to exist to accomplish these goals? The conditions with real estate are always right. I know that times are difficult. You have your issue of interest rates, you have the prices are high. I don't care. There's always an opportunity. And as good realtors, you have to find those opportunities. And if you know what your market is doing, you'll find those and you'll figure it out. I mentioned that I started in 2008. That's when short sales came in the picture. No one knew what a short sale was. The banks didn't know how to do short sales either. No one knew. People laughed because I took a class how to handle distressed sales. And all the other realtors that have been working already in real estate laughed because they were like, you're never gonna make any money. I didn't know any different. I didn't experience that boom that everybody was making commission before the market crashed, but I knew I had to work and I knew I had to generate business. And let me tell you, short sales were awesome for me. I did great because I didn't listen to that, and that's what was happening. But the realtors that were in the business, they wanted the commission 45 days. I want to get paid. Short sales didn't work like that. So I had to just accommodate to the market, learn how to do things. This is before Equator was around. This is before there was a process to do a short sale. It was just kind of like Wild Wild West, figure it out. And that's what I did. And if you look through history, it's like that. It'll change and it'll do something different. And once most people figure it out, it's already too late. So you kind of have to start seeing ahead of time, what's going on so that I can, okay, how do I adjust what I need to do? So it's always important to forecast your market. You have to be on top of everything. What is the Federal Reserve doing? I mean, you guys are seeing no interest rates. That's going to change. And by the time that changes, it's too late. Because people are still buying houses now. I've seen now that people are kind of getting past the interest rate thing, which those 3% were not realistic. But now that they're getting past it, people still have to buy houses. There's people closing. I work for a title underwriter. We do closings every day. My customers are closing every day. So there's no excuse. So be aware of what's happening and educate customers, because if you're the person's talking like negative, the market, yeah, the interest, you can't do anything, you're not gonna go anywhere. But if you tell them the facts, yeah, it's a high interest rate, but you know what? Everybody refinances at the end of the day. You find a house that you can afford, you're gonna refinance just like everyone does, because after 2 years, most people refinance. I mean, I've never met a person that didn't. And you're probably gonna be a lot better off because that interest rate's gonna go down, you're gonna owe less money, and you'll be in a better position. But you are the experts. If you walk around with a negative information, that's exactly what's going to keep coming your way. Remember when I talked about the law of attraction? But if you're the positive person and you're kind of like, yeah, this is no brainer. Yeah, it just happens. Many people buy houses at that percentage. It's not an issue. Sellers are actually looking to reduce prices now because people can buy, but sellers have to sell. So the prices will have to come down. I'm not telling you that's going to crash. I don't think that. But I do feel that the sellers have to sell and they have to bring it to a level where the buyers can buy. So make sure that you stay on top of all the local information, national information, anything related to real estate, your mortgages, your interest rates, your real estate news. You have to be on top of everything, because remember, you're the realtors, you're the experts. You're supposed to know all these things. Okay, so interaction. Who wants to be brave and tell me what the average Florida realtor salary is? Any takers? Any idea? Just throw me a number, please.
60.
Okay.
It's the thing, you just started. It's hard.
Okay. Could be. Annually.
30.
Okay. It's between the two of you. This, I think, is recent only because of what the market was doing these last couple of years. But traditionally, you were between 40 and 60. So this is based on Indeed.com. And like I said, I don't know where they got those numbers. Usually they base it on the average realtor. And the average realtor, I think, does 5 transactions a year. Because there's more realtors that are doing it kind of like on the side versus realtors who work full time. Now, your potential is to make $200,000 and even more. That's up to you. I don't know how you want to run your business. But that's the part that you guys have to do when you leave here. What is that number for you? Have you ever sat down and like, what do I need to survive? How much income do I want to generate? And what do we need to do to generate the income? So like I said, this is the average. I don't know what you guys have done. Hopefully you guys will go home today and kind of sit down and look at all your commissions, what you received, what you spent, and figure those numbers out, because you cannot plan ahead if you don't know what happened now. Okay, so and then once you said, okay, I did that, then maybe if I make some adjustments, I can get to whatever the goal it is that you want. So here's the fun part. We're going to do some numbers. So let's break down that same salary, $93,000 a year, okay? That equals to $7,808 per month. Remember what I said? I base my goals per month. Per month, let's say, if this is my goal, every month I have to make $7,000, $8,000. I have to, commission-wise, I have to do that to cover my expenses, to cover my salary, to cover everything I need to pay. So the median, Miami median sales price is $475,000. I think that's pretty reasonable here too. You have to figure out what that is. So based on that sales price, if I had to pay my broker 25% commission, and I don't know what the commission split is, I'm just throwing numbers again. You're going to have to do the numbers of whatever you guys have. So if I pay my broker from that $475, 3% commission, and I gave my broker 25%, I end up with $10,687. So if I close one deal a month of average sale price, I'm okay, right? I'm actually up $3,000. So I would need 8.77 transactions per year to reach my annual income. Is that reasonable? Right? And let's say those months that you cannot, maybe it didn't go so well. That's the part where I mentioned you should have like a diverse book of business. Maybe you have a rental, maybe you have, a buyer. I love to work as a listing agent, because as soon as I got my license, the instructor said, if you want to make money, you become a listing agent. And I love working from my pajamas from home. So I did my best work in my pajamas. But, I had to switch to buyers when the market switched. And then I had to drive around with something new because I had to adjust to the market. Rentals, I wasn't a fan of rentals, but a little rental here and there helped out. I brought up, if I maybe did $5,000 commission one month, a little rental will compensate and maybe bring me to where I needed to be. So now that you understand what you need to, once you figure out your numbers, how do we get to that? So this is a spreadsheet that I'll be happy to share with Kirelis. And this is kind of what I use. So if you see the top of it, it says listings. Most of my book of business was listings, and that's what I had. And you see the commission there, the breakdown of the commission. Then I had my buyers, because I wanted to make sure I'd separate, okay, where's my business coming from? What am I mostly doing? What am I working? And then you see the rentals. And then I would add it up, like every month, this is what I close every month. So you should know what you're doing quarterly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. The same thing going forward. So now when you start to look at your numbers for next year, set those goals for the first quarter, the second quarter. You see how you start breaking it down now? And if you keep something like this to track, again, you can try something else. Just for me, I spreadsheet everything, okay? This was the best thing for me. Because too, I'm a visual person. If you don't see it, then how do you know? How do you know you're reaching those goals? How do you know you're accomplishing these things? So this, to me, this is the best thing that worked for me. You guys, welcome to find whatever works for you. I can share this report too. You can play with it and do whatever you need with it, but it was the best thing that I could use at the time to track my activities. So financial examples, you should put together your budgets, not just personally, but for your business. So you should create, okay, what's my mortgage, car payments, hair, nails, ladies, All those things need to go into effect to figure out what those numbers are for you. Remember what I said. How do you know how much income you need to make? And I would throw in my vacations in there too. Don't forget to add those in there, because you do need time off. Then we can work on what your expenses are with work. How much did you spend on real estate this year? I mean, your fees, your services, your time, your mileage, your gas, everything. You should be adding that up. Is it making sense? Because if that you're spending too much and not making enough, I mean, you need to look at those numbers as well. And that's going to give you a better idea too of where you need to be, or maybe where to cut back. Because I don't know about you guys, I didn't get out of my house unless I was going to make money. It's a big production to get dressed and look like this, so. Yes, so if I was gonna go out, I needed to make some money. So always look at closed sales versus canceled transactions. Even if you have like customers that you don't close, keep track of that. Remember what I said, find out what happened. How could I have maybe done something different there? Even those things help you out to continue to tweak yourself and make yourself a better and more efficient realtor. Keep track of expenses per transactions. Sometimes I had to pay for cleaning services for rentals. My customers who come in would do the walkthrough in the place of the disaster, and I have a cleaning lady on call, and I would call her and say, hey, do you mind doing me a favor? Can you come in, and before they move in, can you take care of the property? And I would expense it. I didn't charge them for it. So some things like that, sometimes you have to do, close the transaction and just keep the customer happy, because rentals become buyers eventually. I don't know if you guys realize that. And then marketing expenses. Traditionally, I think, or what they recommend or suggest is 25% of your income goes to marketing. 25%. So that's quite a number, right? But if it's working and it's good marketing, it's going to pay itself off. And that's something that you need to keep track of. If you are doing marketing, is it working? Because you're not going to pay Zillow just to pay Zillow, or you're not going to pay whoever it is that you want to market with just to pay them. Is it working or not working? If it's not working, that's fine. Move on to something else. So keep that in mind as well when you're doing your budgeting and figuring out where you're going to put your money. Activities that salespeople perform to create customers. You have to identify the need of the market. Remember what I said. You have to be on top of what the market is doing, what's going on in your industry, so that you can see the need. When I started, it was short sales. Nobody wanted to do it because you might not get paid, because nobody knew what was happening. The house would go on foreclosure. You wasted all your time. But it just took some time, and that's what the market was. Finding out which needs can be profitable, because yeah, you can do some things, but is it profitable? Is it worth your time? That's the other thing you have to look at. And you want to work to meet the needs of the customers, because at the end of the day, that is what you do. As realtors, our job is to help the consumers navigate through a real estate transaction. We forget that we have all this extra knowledge that most people don't. Or we assume that they know, but they don't. That's why you're here, because your job is to help them, because they have no clue. They think they do because they have Google, but they don't. Time blocking is something that I hope you guys are doing. If you guys were working from 9 to 5, you would have set goals that you have to do within that time. Well, as realtors, you have to do your own duties and responsibilities. And every week, you should have time blocking for different things. When are you doing your cold callings? When are you looking for properties for your customers? When are you creating listing presentations? When are you, all those things, there should be times where you handle these things. So if you heard me before, I have 2 kids. My youngest one, I'm surprised he's not a realtor, because he has done almost everything in real estate. He was my photographer too for a while. And the cutest thing. So I used to pick him up every day from school, but every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would go to like Wendy's, because he didn't like McDonald's. We would get a kid's meal, and we would drive around the neighborhoods that I like to work at. And mommy could not go home till we had 5 phone numbers to call from listings for sale by owner. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, without a fail. And he was there with me all the time. And we were not, a poor kid, I'm sure it's child abuse. We had to drive around the neighborhoods to find those for sale by owner signs so that mommy can call them to do my cold calls the following days. It's up to you where you want to spend your time, how you want to generate your business. That's what I did. My family was with me because he knew, and even if I miss a day, Mom, you did not go looking for numbers. You have nobody to call. Like, he will keep me in check, because my family understood how important it was, not just for me, it was for them. So make sure that you're scheduling time to cold call for social media, because social media is a great way to network with people without networking. schedule your showings, listing appointments, and education. So I'm super happy that you guys are taking the time to listen to me because it only makes you more valuable. Everything that you're investing in yourself, and this is investing in yourself, time is money. It's to benefit you and hopefully help you grow and help you be a more successful realtor. And your customers will see the difference because they'll see, wow, this person is very knowledgeable and they know this and they plan that, and okay, they can tell the difference with realtors that are not taking it serious and with those that are taking their job serious as real estate. I'm kind of a pain in the butt with anything I do. I like to know everything about it. In the past, real estate was the only job that I kept the longest because every 2 years I was switching jobs because I would get bored. Once, because I had to learn my job from A to Z, everything. Like I had to know everything about it. I can't do that with real estate because it's constantly changing, and that's probably why I've stayed in this industry for so long. So
What were you doing before the real estate?
oh my God, I worked, oh my God, I worked at an airport, I did airplane parts, I did work for large insurance companies, sales as well, but I did different like roles because every time it was like, I'm done with this, I need something else. I had my own business. I did the stay-at-home mom for a bit, and then when I came back to work, it was with real estate. And I love real estate. So I think it's a great career. So you guys, I love that you're here today. So activities. Real estate is a numbers game. Like we just talked about the numbers for your income, but it's also your activities. 12 contacts equals 1 lead. 5 leads equals 1 appointment. 2 appointments equals 1 contract. So the more people you contact, the more people you speak to, the more people that are aware of you, the more chances you have of creating a lead and eventually getting a contract. So super important that you guys remember that. And it's like, figure like a monster. You have to keep feeding that monster more contacts, more contacts, more contacts. And never get deterred. Let's say somebody's not interested in buying right now. Always be helpful. Always give information. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't want them to know anything. I want them to come to me. No, give them information. People are not going to do your job. They don't know what you do. They think they do, but they don't. And also, even if they're not buying now, if you make a good impression on that person, more than likely if somebody asks, hey, do you know a good realtor? You know what? I met someone the other day, and they were very helpful. And they helped me out a lot, even though I didn't buy anything or do anything. Maybe you should call them. So always see any opportunity to speak to somebody as an opportunity, because you never know where that's going to lead. And I've seen people that are like, oh, you don't want to buy anything? I don't have time for you. Guess what? You're not going to get the call when they're ready or when somebody they know is interested. I love this. Here I'm only recommend, I only have 2 options, green and red. I color coordinate my calendar. I like to see, again, I'm visual, so I need to see things. And I can do it on my Outlook, and I can do it on my writing, because I'm a little old school, I gotta write things down. All my activities that generate money, listing appointments, showings, anything to do with customers, green. My activities with my family, they're in pink. Appointments, doctor's appointments and things like that are highlighted in yellow. Red, I usually don't use that much. I know it says it here, but those are, you can use it as non-income generating. Like I said, I go a little extra with my colors. If you want to keep it simple, you can do these too. But the point is, when I look at my calendar and there's more pink or yellow activities in my calendar, it means that I'm slacking. But if there's a lot of green and there's green constantly throughout the week, then I'm doing okay. But it's just a reminder and just to keep you focused that what have I done this week? Again, if you're not looking at your activities or what you're doing, then you're not gonna see why things are not working out. But I feel like for me, it's a great tool. I still use it now. I still track my activities, with my team, or when I'm doing these seminars, or when I'm meeting new clients, or when I'm, doing appointments. Whatever I do I still do this. And again, it's just a reminder, am I slacking? Where am I spending my time? Am I teaching too many classes? Am I, going to visit more customers? What am I doing? You can also do a SWOT analysis on yourself or your business. And what that is find out what are the strengths, where's your weaknesses, where's the opportunities, and what are the threats. So what is your strength? I don't know what that is. My strength is I love working with people. I love, when I work with buyers, it was like the opportunity to help them buy the new house, and so exciting. And I'm still friends with all of those buyers. Most of the buyers that I work with, I already sold those houses that they bought from me. They came back, and they became like family. Even when I did real estate, what was my strength? I came in short sales. It was kind of like I was a therapist. People were losing their houses. They didn't have money. The economy was to the ground. It was very emotional for people. And my job was also to come in and like, it's okay. We're going to get through this. You'll be fine. That was my job too. Because even though, yeah, I'm trying to make a living, because I'm here to sell your house because I'm going to get paid, I still had to help them out because they're still customers and they're human. They're still people. So you kind of have to have that, think about it like that. You're helping people out and you don't know their situation. So what are your strengths? That was my strength. I'll say that's my strength. What was my weakness? I didn't like working with investors. I could not. And I had investors call me all the time. You work with a lot of buyers. Can you help me with this? You have all these distressed sales. And I refused to work with them. I just couldn't do it. The cutthroat was too much for me. I personally couldn't do it. Like I said, I'm more the emotional. Where can I help you? How can we get past this? And the opportunities. What were the opportunities? Like I mentioned, in my time, it was the short sales. It was what was going on in the market. And what are the threats? For now, you guys have a lot of threats going on. But how do you work with those threats? How do you make them work for you? And that's what a SWOT analysis is. You have to look at all the conditions, all the situation, and where you can use your weaknesses and your strength to create opportunity and get past whatever the weaknesses and the threats are, okay? And you can only do one individually because I don't know what those things are. You guys are gonna have to work on it for yourselves. So here are a few categories to examine as you plan for 2024. Your marketing, your event, what events did you attend this year, what things did you do that work for you, education, like we said, you guys are doing education, what are the things that maybe are making you better. Hopefully by the time we finish today, you gain something from this class and you guys will be more laser focused for next year. So again, this is a good thing that you're doing for yourself by taking the time to build your business better. New clients, how many new clients did you bring in this year? What did you do that worked and what did not work? Remember what I said, even the ones that don't close, you should keep track of that. What's that percentage? What happened? Was it the interest rate? Was it the lender? Maybe they're ready to buy now. So you should be keeping track of all of those things. And things to know. People want to buy or work with people they like, and they also don't want to be sold. So yeah, you have to sell yourself, I would say, call me if you need anything, whatnot. But don't be so trying to sell and push people to do things that they don't want to do. Be informative, even like now. When they give you that negative, the interest rates is now, I'm like, you could tell them by the time things get better, you're gonna be way behind. Because then the frenzy starts and now you're gonna have to compete with other people and the prices are gonna go up again. People wanna work with people they like I said, so don't be afraid to share about yourself. And we talked about social media. I always tell people, connect with your customers on social media because people want to connect with you. They want to see how they relate to you. And even if you're talking to customers, you're showing properties, oh yeah, I have kids too. And they learn about you because you're going to have to share something about yourself. It's kind of the same thing. Of course, with social media, what I recommend is make sure you're not posting things that if you feel like, I wouldn't want my customer or somebody else to see it, don't post it. If there are not in your social media, just don't post it. Because even if your account is private, somebody will see it, somebody can screenshot it, just don't post it. Your customers want you to be successful. So if you do a great job, they're gonna recommend you. They're gonna brag about you. Well, I don't know how good your realtor is. My realtor was great. My realtor did this, did this, did this. They paid for my cleaning for my apartment, da 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 da. And I used to get that a lot from customers because they'll tell me like, I work with other realtors and no one ever did half the things that you did. Because they were just closing. Oh yeah, here's a contract, title company handle it, you over here, and they always pass the job to somebody else, not me. I was with them the whole step of the way, because that's my job. That's what I was supposed to do. You need to write down your goals and review periodically. So remember, hopefully when you guys leave today, you're gonna write down those dreams, all those things that you want, and anything is achievable. But you can also look at it and look back and see, okay, what works, what didn't work, and maybe we need to adjust. Things to consider. Are you staying in touch with past customers? Like I said, renters become buyers, and buyers become sellers. But if you're not on top of them or just keeping in touch, they're gonna find somebody else. Because people forget, it happens. It happens all the time. Oh, I didn't know you were still doing real estate. I still get calls, and I'm not doing real estate, but I'm still in the real estate arena. So they assume that I'm still doing real estate. So make sure that you stay in contact with past customers, even the ones that don't close, because you never know, things change. Review and update your business plan regularly. So like we say, you're going to budget yourself, you're going to check where you're spending your money, what are your marketings, what are you doing differently. And if you need to adjust, adjust. If something's not working, adjust. Don't be committed to it. Change it. And have an accountability partner, and it could be family. It could be one of your coworkers, maybe you partner with another realtor. Hey, how many calls did you make today? I'm very competitive. So I like to partner with somebody who's like, how many calls did you make? I made 50. I'm just throwing numbers. But you get what I'm saying. You want to make it so like, okay, somebody's keeping you accountable. For me, it was my kid. Because he knew when I was slacking, and he's like, I didn't see you go to the bank today depositing any checks. And he knew which bank account it was. So yes, it could be family, or it could be friends, it could be a coworker, it could be a coach, it could be whatever you decide. But somebody, it's like, somebody needs to babysit you. We all need babysitting. I'm sorry. I don't care how good you are. Even I do. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So if you guys create a plan, okay, what am I going to do next year? Am I going to do listings? Am I going to work with buyers? How am I going to generate those leads? How am I going to, sharpen my tools? Maybe you need education. Maybe you need help with something. Now is that time, because you guys, I'm glad you're here today, but I usually like to teach this class in October. November, December, January, no business. But this is a time where you guys are going to look at everything you've done this past year and plan, okay, what am I doing as soon as the market picks up, as soon as things pick up. I'm going to say after, like, the end of January, it'll start, kind of people are getting out of the clouds. February, things are going to start picking up. But it takes about, 60 days for you to close a transaction. And if you start, a lot of times people, like when you do marketing, oh, it's going good. Okay, I'm going to stop the marketing. Big mistake. Because it takes those 60 days again when you start again. So now you just set yourself 60 days back. You have to stay consistent, keep going, and keep feeding that monster like I told you, so that you constantly have things going. Otherwise, you just set yourself back 60 days on anything that you do. So what I was mentioning, so January, things kind of start picking up. You're not going to see maybe results, I'm going to say, till probably late March, maybe early April, depending. Because you still have to show properties. You still have to get a contract. The market is still very demanding. Do inspections, do appraisals, and they get to closing. So think about those days too. How long does it take for you to close those transactions? When did you go into contract? What did it take? We also have a contract class, how to avoid things during your contract period to make sure that you can get to closing without any issues and no delays. So make sure that again, if you guys need help with something, talk to your brokers, talk to Kirelis and tell her, hey, I would like a class on this that'll help me to achieve those goals that I'm setting myself for next year. All right? Any questions? No? Well,
Thank you so much for everything.
oh, you're welcome. Well, I'm so happy that you guys joined me. I was worried there for a minute. But thank you so much.
This thing is important to us, sometimes we forgot it.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that most of the time they don't teach you. But in reality, I think it's something that should be taught really at the beginning to kind of help you guys project your business and how you were going to, accomplish those things. So I hope it helped you. Like I said, I'm going to share all these things with Kirelis, and you're welcome to reach out to Kirelis so that she can provide it for you. And if there's anything else, like I said, for next year that you guys need help with, just reach out to them and let them know, hey, I need help with this. It could be me or another professional. That's what we're here for, to help you guys be more successful. And thank you for taking the time to be here today, because that's the number one thing. That's the most important thing, that you guys made it today. Thank you.